What's up, Trinity? Pastor Sean here for your 60-second sermon summary. Let's see how we do this week. This past Sunday, we were in John chapter 9, and we watched Jesus heal a man who was born blind. And we said that this man was a bit of an illustration for all humankind, that we're living in spiritual darkness, and without help, we cannot see the beauty of God. We divided the chapter into three main parts. The first 7 verses were the miracle of Jesus healing him. The second large section was the reaction to the healing and the interrogation of the man by the Pharisees. And finally, there were some application verses at the end. And this really was, chapter 9, something of a case study of everything Jesus had been talking about through chapters 7 and 8, and especially near the end of chapter 8, where he said, I am the light of the world. And so in chapter 9, we watched this take shape, and we watched the journey of the blind man as he had his physical eyes open, but then his spiritual sight came too. Remember, we watched in verse 10, he said, it was the man named Jesus healed me. A little bit later in verse 17, when he was asked who he thought Jesus was, he says, well, it must be a prophet. A couple of verses later, it was Jesus is the Christ. And finally, in verse 33, he said Jesus was from God. This is tremendous growth throughout the chapter. By the end of the chapter, we do see that this man had both physical and spiritual sight. And we see the Pharisees, that even though they can physically see, they are spiritually blind. They can't see Jesus for who he is. And so the challenge for us is to be willing to have the humility to come to Jesus and say, am I seeing as you want me to see? And to ask Jesus, the light of the world, to come into our lives and show us where we're still in darkness and where we need his light. So I hope you grab that. You can catch the whole message, of course, at trinitycanmore.com/media. And I would love to hear how Jesus, the light of the world, is working in your life. See you on Sunday morning, 10:30, live.trinitycanmore.com.